Good morning and welcome to the Digital Coffee. That's all the social media news you need to know this week. And I've got some really interesting stuff to look at today. A lot of Twitter news, a lot of Facebook news, and some really big things you need to know about. But before I start, have you noticed something different? Something just happened when I logged in to Facebook and I started my Facebook Live. They let me flip the screen, so now I should be the correct way round. It's really odd for me because I'm used to looking at myself one way or the other, and it's going to take some getting used to. I look a bit like I look in the mirror now, I think. Do I? Does that work? No, I look the opposite to I look in the mirror. It's very, very odd. Hello, I can see someone has joined us. The other thing was, just before... Hi, Uma Ming, thanks for joining. Just before I came on air, I made myself a lovely cup of coffee and it is gone already. Here it was. Empty, empty mug. Do let me know what you're drinking as you join in. And let's just go through my whiteboard here. We've got some LinkedIn news. Actually, the LinkedIn news broke just before my session last week, but I didn't have time to squeeze it in. We've got some Twitter news. We've got some Facebook news, some more Facebook news, some more Facebook news, some more Twitter news, some more Twitter news, and some more Facebook news. In fact, the board is completely blue this week. I had to draw some red bits on just to make it look a little bit more exciting. So welcome. Hi, Kate. I can see you've joined us there. Do say hi. Just in case you missed it, look, I'm the right way round this week. This just happened before I went live. I discovered I could flip my screen and be the right way round. It may not seem exciting to you. It's terribly exciting to me. I quickly had to go and reflip all my photos because normally I flip them so they're the right way around for you. Okay, tell me what you're drinking. Is it tea? Is it coffee? Have you an empty mug like I do this week? On to the news. You're all very quiet this morning. This is unusual. I can see you're there. Are you not drinking anything? Am I on a time delay? Okay, so the first bit of news is about LinkedIn. Now, I know LinkedIn to a lot of people isn't the most popular network. In fact, I find myself struggling to interact there myself. I do have a good audience there. It's just, what should I post? That's the big question. Morning, Kate. I'm just seeing your good morning now, so I'm guessing we're running a little bit behind on streaming. It's not the most exciting network in the world. Tea, excellent choice. I think I shall go for another cup of tea once I finish. It's not the most exciting network in the world, but really, if you are in a business-to-business organisation, it's something you need to use. And more, I actually think, you know, even if you're a business consumer, it's a good place to find people and have different conversations to you will have elsewhere. It's taken a lot of changes recently. It was bought by Microsoft. I think they've got a good business plan in place now. We might not like that, but in reality, they need to make money. So yeah, nice one, LinkedIn. But their success means that they are suffering from similar problems to other social networks. Twitter mostly, we'll be talking about Twitter abuse later on. And this is that even though, and this always bemuses me, people are representing their professional selves on LinkedIn, apparently some of the communications has got a bit out of hand. So they've added some more reporting tools and safety tools basically to posts. So this is when you post a blog post, pretty much. You can actually write directly into LinkedIn. And the first one is that you can disable comments on a post completely. You can do that whenever you want to do it, not just when you publish the post. There is a downside. If you've had a lot of comments on that post already, they're all going to disappear. They're deleted permanently. There's no going back and getting them back. The second thing is that you can now report inappropriate comments. So individual comments, rather than switching the whole feed off, you can report the ones that you don't think are helpful or abusive, inappropriate. I still find it completely baffling that anyone would go on LinkedIn and be abusive, but we know there's been a lot of trouble recently. Hi, thanks for the thumbs up. I didn't quite see who that was. we know there's been a lot of abuse online recently. There's been this whole thing that has happened recently, which I'm not going to mention, but it has increased the amount of abuse that people are getting. So it's good to see that LinkedIn are being proactive about that. I'd like to see them just banning users, really. I mean, it's not the network for what people are calling free speech. On to my next one then. Hi Naomi, I think that was you that gave me the thumbs up. On to my next one then. Twitter or Facebook? Twitter. I think we'll go with Twitter. Twitter. Now this is, I was supposed to do Facebook next. Look at that. Twitter, and this is the first bit of Twitter news for the week to show that they're actually thinking properly. And that is that they are making a change to their advertising product. Now, I don't know exactly what this is going to mean for now, but the interesting thing is that they're going to simplify it. And I think this is well needed. If you've watched before or listened to me ranting on before about Twitter, there's the postman, you'll know that I think the one thing they really need to do is fix their advertising. They had a little dip in the revenue that was coming from their advertising recently. They just need to make it user-friendly. And they seem to acknowledge this. It's too confusing for users. So they're going to do something. Bye-bye, postman. They're going to do something about it. So that, I think, is good news. We'll give them, I forgot, I've got all these smiley faces with me today. And thanks, Twitter. Onto Facebook. I have to share you one bit of Facebook news straight up. It's not the big bit of news. If you've tuned in for the big bit of news, that's coming. But it does kind of hint at what the big bit of news is going to be. And this is to do with advertising as well. If you're using Facebook ads, great. If you're not, definitely worth giving it a try if you need some help. I'm here to help. Just give me a shout. They're changing a few things. So you may remember towards the end of last year, there were a few issues with their ad reporting and what consisted of a video view, and they messed it up and they said, look, we've messed it up. They brought in outside auditors now to fix that issue. But now you're going to get more information on the impressions that you get for your videos. And this is going to be really interesting. At the moment, if you delve deeply into your reports, you can see if people watch the video 25%, 50%, 100%, 3 seconds, 10 seconds. But now you're actually going to see that information, not about the people that watched, but the impressions of the video. So that's when it was shown to someone on Facebook. And you're going to be able to see the number of milliseconds that your video was on screen, which is interesting because people, we imagine it's an impression, but do they scroll straight past your video? So not only is this good for Facebook, it's good for you when you're designing ads. You're going to be able to see how many milliseconds it was on screen, 50%. So that means, you know, if somebody half scrolled past the ad, that counts as an impression, but you might not think that's a good impression. And you're going to be able to see the number of milliseconds that it was 100% on screen. So this will be able to tell you so much more information about which videos are actually really successful for you. Because if you're using Facebook ads, you'll know that pretty much if you put a video up there, your impressions are going to be great. Your interactions are going to be great. They're a winner. This is going to delve deeper into that information. You're going to know, is it actually worth just putting any video up there, or should you be working harder at a good video? I'm still a bit freaked out that I'm the right way around, so do bear with me. I think this is good. The third thing is that they're changing video buying options. You will now be able to buy video views on a completed view up to 10 seconds, a 2-second view, and actually these have been proved to be really good for brand awareness. There's statistics out there you can look at that show even if somebody's just seeing a little bit of your video, it stays in their mind far longer than an image will. And the third one is, and this hints, you can't see the video. That's a shame, Naomi. Hopefully, Kate, tell me you can see the video. Anyone else tell me you can see the video. Maybe it's because I flipped it. And the third one, and this is the big hint towards for the new Facebook update, you will be able to buy ads with the sound up, with the sound on. Video ads with sound on. I'll leave that with you for a bit because you're going to guess what the big Facebook update is. So all in all, this is positive. Hey, Eleanor, thanks for telling me you could see me because I got a bit worried there. I worried that when I changed all the settings, I did something bad. Okay, so good news. Oh, as I said, really hard to get used to this new layout. That's really great news from Facebook advertising. Like I said, if you're stuck with Facebook advertising, if you haven't tried it yet and you're a bit scared, get in touch. It's a service I offer. That's the sales pitch. Okay, on to the next one. Another Facebook one. No, we're going to click that. You hate the sound on. Okay, we're going to go with the big Facebook update then. So I told you that, hinted at it. And Unamin, you're going to hate this then. If you hate sound on video, like I do, you're going to hate this. Although there is some good news with it as well. So the big news is that now when you see auto-playing video in your Facebook feed on your mobile phone, it will play with the sound on. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, aren't you? That's exactly what I thought. In fact, I still think it a little bit. Now the way it's going to work as well, it's kind of interesting. As you scroll, the sound will kind of come in slowly and then fade out again, come in slowly and fade out again. They've done tests on this. People apparently like it. Now, the good news, if you're like me, I have the sound, like the ringer and the sound off on my phone all the time because, I don't know, it's just distracting with all those little beeps and blips all day long. So I have the sound off on that. And that means it's not so bad. Because when you have that, you won't hear the sound unless you press to play the sound. So that's one way to get around it if you're like me. You'll also be able to go into your settings and switch off the sound on Facebook videos. So we'll see how that goes. It's interesting because people like me who put videos on Facebook, a big job we have is to try and get people to watch the whole thing or to click the sound. Now, on my shorter videos, I don't mind you looking at the subtitles. I can't subtitle a video this long. So it's going to be interesting to see now, will I get more views? Now, will I be more engaging because people are going to hear the sound? Or will everyone just switch it off? So that's the big bit of news. The second bit of news from them on video is that you're going to have better vertical video on mobile. I don't know what that means because the vertical video experience is actually pretty good on mobile already. So we'll see how that works. I do know that you'll have like a little progress bar at the bottom and you'll be able to skim through it really quickly. Annoying when you're somewhere quiet looking at your Facebook feed. Absolutely, Kate. Actually, even when I'm at home, you know, I'll sit there and I'll watch a video in silent deliberately because there's the telly on and I don't want to distract the man next to me. So I do think it's going to be interesting. But like I said, because I have the sound off on my phone, I probably won't notice it. I'm going to have to rely on you guys to tell me how it's going. The third one then is that you'll be able to continue watching a video while you scroll. So you'll have the option to, and some of you will have been involved in this test already, you'll have the option to dump it down on the bottom right hand side of your screen and you can continue scrolling Facebook and watch the video. Again, this is great news for video producers. So now you'll be able to, and this is mobile, this is where I've seen it on mobile anyway, you'll be able to continue surfing Facebook and still watch my Facebook Live every week. You've got no excuse. And the final one then is that they've released an app for Apple TV, for Amazon Fire and for Samsung Smart TV that you'll be able to watch Facebook videos on that. Now, I did mention that in last week's show. It wasn't released then. It is now. I have an Apple TV. I'm still wondering what videos I want to watch. Looks like they're copying YouTube with the minimize box. That's interesting because I don't watch enough YouTube video to know that they do that. That's very interesting. I didn't know they did that on the mobile app. I tend to watch YouTube videos on my computer because, you know, I'm old. That's it. Okay. We've got Twitter, Facebook. Let's go with some Twitter then. We've had two Facebook in, and again, Una Mina, I think you're going to like this because last time we discussed this, it was in the works and now it's here. Twitter last week announced some changes they were going to make to try and combat abuse on Twitter, which is a huge, huge problem. I know it's a reason loads of people don't interact there. And this week it's kicked in. The first thing that you need to know about is this is Twitter's announcement, which I'm going to show you first, if it will focus, because then of course I turned the brightness up on the screen. And what it says, the first tweet from Twitter Safety is, we've heard consistent feedback from the safety community regarding notifications from conversations started by people you've blocked or muted. Now, we were wondering last week how this was going to work. Now you won't be notified about replies to conversations started by people you blocked or muted, unless replies are from people you follow. So you will still see some, but only from the people you follow. So if somebody includes your username in a tweet, you won't see the barrage of nastiness that might follow that. So it will cut back on trolling, which I think is really good. And this is interesting because, you know, I saw an article this morning from a particular publication that I won't mention, but I've decided I may unsubscribe from their feed, saying this was banning freedom of speech. That's just ridiculous. Of course it's not. You're still tweeting your horrible abuse. It just means that the person that you're trying to hurt isn't getting hurt. And I don't think freedom of speech can be used as an excuse for abusing people the way that they are on Twitter. So fair play to that person. And the second one now is, interestingly, it's a bit like Twitter jail. Twitter jail is when you're limited from following people for a while. This particular person tweeted that they got a thing from Twitter saying that their account had been limited. So that only people who followed them, so I don't think this is that bad, only people that follow them could see their horrible tweets. In fairness, he may have just used the word, and he may not have understood that it was upsetting, so he may not have horrible tweets. I may be being unfair, but it's still not saying nobody's going to see your tweets. It's just saying only people who follow you. So nobody can retweet your tweets for 12 hours. Here it is. Look, he used the word, I'm not going to say it because I think it's a horrible word, and you shouldn't definitely not use it when you're talking about other people. Automatically get limited because I said, I'm just considering leaving Twitter, F them. And there's the thing that they got from Twitter, which says that they're creating a safer environment for people to freely express themselves. It's critical to the Twitter community. So if that may violate the Twitter rules, it's detected. Oh, I'm not going to read it because I'm reading it really badly, but basically it's been banned from being retweeted or his tweets being shown to anyone outside the people he follows for 12 hours. I think it's smart. If he leaves Twitter and he's abusive, so what? We want less abusive people on Twitter in general. It isn't. If people were to walk out into the street and shout the things to people that you see going on Twitter, I'm pretty sure somebody would call the cops. So I think this is very smart from Twitter. I'd love to hear what you think. I think that's a huge update from Twitter. I think that's really big. I think they're thinking really smartly. This is the thing that is limiting their users. We don't want Twitter to be full of horrible people. We just want regular people who behave decently to other human beings on there. Oh, I'm giving it a thumbs up. You may disagree. But oh, that all was for a reason. This is really great news because in Ireland, so if you're not in Ireland and watching this, I know Eleanor is not in Ireland, you should come here because in Ireland, Twitter is on the rise. I'm going to take personal credit for this, of course. Yes, the latest stats from the Ipsos MRBI, who release quarterly statistics on social media and digital marketing in Ireland, have shown that Twitter is on the rise. 29% of all internet users in Ireland use Twitter. The daily users of Twitter are up to 33%. So 33% of the people that use Twitter in Ireland log in every single day. And that's up 2% on the previous year. Yay, Twitter. Yay, yay, yay. You can come and live in Ireland. Oh, you do live in Ireland. Okay. 28% Instagram. So that's actually less people than are on Twitter, which isn't like the rest of the world. 64% of internet users are on Facebook. Or 64%, which is down from 67%. So action, come see us, Eleanor. You'd be very welcome. That's actually interesting because people are abandoning Facebook. I do not hear people saying that Facebook is dead like they do about Twitter. It's definitely not, is it? It's definitely the most popular social network. And this is a really interesting one. 27% use Google Plus. Google Plus daily in Ireland, which is up by 5%. That's just below Instagram. Let's have a look at the statistics. Let's have a look at that graph because I think this is significant. I'd like to say well done to Twitter and Ireland, and we all knew Twitter was great. So here you go. Here's the statistics. You can see Twitter did have a little bit of a dip, but it's gone up again right at the top. Did somebody say tumbleweed about Google Plus? I know. Do you log in there every day? Google what? Maybe it's worth having a look at again. And you can see here with the growth of Google Plus. Oh, sorry, I keep thinking my screen's the other way around. This is utterly confusing to me. LinkedIn, Facebook. There's my Twitter statistics. As you can see, a nice little rise. And there's my Google Plus statistics. And you can see my window and you can see my view. So that's really good news. Well done, Ireland. Well done, Twitter. We still love you. Will I give it a, you know what? I'm not going to give it a thumbs up. I'm going to give it, because I haven't used it yet. We love you, Twitter. Okay, so I did the... Oh, now, in the last few months, we've seen Facebook take a big swipe at Snapchat with its Instagram stories and now its Facebook stories. And you know what? It's working. People are using them. It's working for Facebook. Smart business decision, maybe. Was it very nice? Probably not. Do I care? Not really. And then they took a swipe at Pinterest. You may remember Instagram are introducing tools that are very similar to Pinterest tools. I'm not sure that's going to work because I think Pinterest does something very different than just being a social network. Now, they're after LinkedIn. Yep, so they've started allowing, and they're just testing this in the US and Canada. Oh, you got Facebook stories today. Oh, you see, we're privileged in Ireland. It's probably because we like Twitter. They gave us them ages ago. Yeah, they are kind of cool. So anyway, LinkedIn, Facebook are now going to allow companies to post job positions on Facebook, which is really interesting. Just in Canada and the US now, I'm wondering, is there going to be a charge? I'm going to wondering how many people are going to be comfortable associating their Facebook profiles with their professional life. We'll just have to wait and see, but definitely a swipe at LinkedIn. Now, this obviously means Facebook are after world domination now. That's it. They do lots of things to swipe at Twitter. I'm wondering where else they'll go with this. And my final bit of news, I'm a few minutes ahead of time. This is amazing. Might even switch in another little bit of Twitter news then. My final bit of news, another bit of Facebook news. Do you like my little Twitter with the that's showing? It's a bit rude. Didn't mean to be rude. And I've got a Twitter bird that's swearing as well. I do think when I've gone and drawn these, I should show them to you properly. You are now able to add animated GIFs to your ads on Facebook. That's it. I think this is good because, of course, we can see animated GIFs now on Facebook. It took them years to get there. They didn't like them. They felt they were ugly. They finally let them in. Now you can add them to ads. You just need to upload them in the single video area of when you're creating the ad. Now you have to do it in Ads Manager. You won't be able to do this just off the cuff. I like this because I've been using animated GIFs a lot recently for kind of like PowerPoint presentations, because when you're doing things on a screen, on a mobile screen, for example, it's very hard to get the screen grabs you need. It's like it can be a 10-point process, not as easy as getting it from a desktop. I can shoot video, which I sometimes do, but then you come across compatibility issues when you send those slides out to anyone. It makes the slides really big. So I've been using animated GIFs for this. I've been using a cool tool, I think it's called, I'll have to put you a link underneath, on my phone to make those animated GIFs as well. So I do think it is a key way in order to get your message across. I'm not talking about those animated GIFs that you steal from like TV shows or whatever, but if you've got a process you want to show, it's a really handy way to do it without taking up too much memory or space. And then, because I've got a few minutes left, tell me if you've got any news. Twitter are obviously taking live videos seriously, more seriously than YouTube. I'm still getting used to this. YouTube or Google, they're going the way Facebook are, realizing that this could be a big thing for them. So now in the trending topics, you don't just see trending topics, you can see a trending live, and it's a big red badge on Twitter. I think this is a great one from Twitter, that they're embracing it. I'm not sure is live video going to be the biggest thing ever forever. But for now, I'm really happy to see Twitter embracing it. That's all for this week. Thank you for joining me. It's lovely to see you all every time this week. Do remember, if you know somebody that would like to know this news, remember we've got the video news in there. We've got Twitter doing well in Ireland there. Click the share button underneath. Share it to your group if you've got a group of people that you know would like it. Share it onto your Facebook feed if you think your friends would like it. Or you can even direct message it to people. Just click that share button, because we get a great traction after the show. Of course, I love having you here during the show too. That's all for me for this week. Remember, if you want to be reminded of my next show, you can sign up to get an email, which comes an hour before the show, to remind you at spiderworking.com/Facebook Live. spiderworking.com/Facebook Live. Bye bye.